Fake HOA find therapy horse visits backlash came from parents nationwide. Have you ever wondered what happens when a neighborhood's heart is trampled by one woman's obsession with control? In the quiet suburb of Willow Grove, a single act of defiance, a therapy horse visiting a child in need sparked a firestorm that would unravel a self-proclaimed HOA tyrant and rally a nation. It started innocently enough. Willow Grove was a peaceful community, its streets lined with tidy homes and blooming gardens where neighbors waved and kids played freely. Among them was Lily, a 10-year-old girl with cerebral palsy whose weekly visits from a therapy horse named Star brought her joy and strength. Star, a gentle chestnut mare, was part of a local nonprofit program that helped children with disabilities through equine therapy. Every Saturday, Star's handler, Sarah, would lead her to Lily's backyard where the girl's laughter echoed as she brushed Star's mane or took supported steps alongside her. These visits weren't just therapy, they were Lily's lifeline, a beacon of hope for her and her single mother, Emily. But trouble brewed on the horizon. Enter Karen Mitchell, a self-appointed president of a so-called HOA that nobody remembered voting for. Karen, with her meticulously styled hair and an ever-present clipboard, had a knack for spotting infractions nobody else cared about: a mailbox slightly askew, a fence an inch too tall, a dog barking 1 decibel too loud. Her latest obsession? Star's visits. Karen claimed the horse was a nuisance, citing non-existent bylaws about livestock in residential areas. Never mind that Willow Grove had no official HOA or that Star's visits were on private property, brief, and left no trace. Karen saw an opportunity to flex her authority, and she pounced. One Saturday, as Lily giggled atop Star, Karen stormed into Emily's backyard, uninvited, waving a handwritten fine for $500. "This animal is lowering property values," she shrieked, ignoring Lily's tearful confusion. Emily, stunned, tried to reason with her. "Star's a therapy animal, Karen. She's helping my daughter walk." But Karen was relentless, declaring that unless the visits stopped, she'd escalate fines to $1,000 a week and file a lien on Emily's home. The audacity was breathtaking. Karen's HOA had no legal standing, no registered charter, no board. It was just her, a clipboard, and a vendetta. Word spread like wildfire. Emily, desperate but determined, shared the story on a local parenting group on Facebook. By Monday, the post had exploded, shared thousands of times by outraged parents across the country. They saw Lily's story as their own, a child's well-being threatened by petty tyranny. Comments poured in: "Who finds a therapy horse? This Karen needs to be stopped. We're with you, Lily." The backlash wasn't just local, it was national, with parents from California to New York rallying behind the cause. A hashtag, #StandWithStar, trended on X, amplifying the outrage. But the truth was uglier than anyone expected. A local journalist, Tom Rivera, caught wind of the story and dug deeper. What he uncovered was a twist that shocked even the most cynical neighbors. Karen's HOA was a complete fabrication. Tom's investigation revealed that Karen had been collecting dues from intimidated residents for years, funneling the money into her personal account. She'd forged documents, bullied homeowners into compliance, and even trespassed to enforce her fake rules. The therapy horse was just her latest target, a high-profile case to cement her dominance. Tom's article, published in the Willow Grove Gazette, laid bare her scheme. Karen had pocketed over $20,000, all while terrorizing families like Lily's. The confrontation came swiftly. On a chilly evening, as Karen strutted through the neighborhood, clipboard in hand, she was met by a crowd of furious residents. Emily stood at the front, Lily in her wheelchair, clutching a stuffed horse that mirrored Star. Parents held signs reading, "Stop the fake HOA and let Lily ride." Tom was there too, recording the scene for a follow-up story. Karen's smugness faltered as she realized the tide had turned. "You can't do this," she snapped, waving her clipboard like a shield. But the crowd wasn't having it. A neighbor, Mrs. Jenkins, a retired librarian with a sharp tongue, stepped forward. "You're no president, Karen. You're a fraud, and we've got proof." The evidence was damning. Tom presented bank records, forged letters, and testimonies from neighbors who'd been coerced into paying Karen's fines. The crowd's anger peaked when Lily's soft voice cut through. "Why don't you want me to have Star?" Karen had no answer. Her face reddened. Her clipboard dropped, and she stammered excuses as the crowd chanted, "Let Lily ride." A local police officer, summoned by a wary neighbor, arrived to de-escalate. When presented with Tom's findings, he warned Karen that charges for fraud and harassment were imminent. The crowd roared in approval as Karen retreated. her reign of terror crumbling. Karen's downfall was swift and bitter. The county prosecutor filed charges for theft, fraud, and trespassing. Karen, unable to afford a lawyer after her accounts were frozen, pleaded guilty to lesser charges, receiving a year of probation and a hefty restitution order. She sold her home to pay back the stolen funds and left Willow Grove in disgrace, her name synonymous with petty tyranny. The neighborhood, free from her grip, held a community meeting to ensure no HOA or fake would ever take root again. They voted unanimously to keep Willow Grove a place of freedom, not rules. Star's visits resumed, each one a triumph. Lily's progress soared. She took her first unassisted steps that spring, her hand gripping Star's mane for balance. Emily, tearfully grateful, hosted a neighborhood barbecue to celebrate, with Star as the guest of honor, munching carrots in the backyard. Parents from across the country sent letters and donations to the therapy program, inspired by Lily's courage and the community's stand. The story of Stand with Star became a symbol of hope, proving that even the smallest voices, when united, could topple a giant. But the story leaves us with a question. Where do we draw the line between community standards and personal freedom? Karen's actions were wrong, but what about legitimate HOAs that overstep? Share your thoughts. Have you faced a Karen in your neighborhood? How would you stand up for what's right?